95.3 The Range. I'm Chuck Taylor, and on the phone with us, an actor who is so good at being so bad, Jason Isaacs. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very fine, thank you. And it's such an odd thing for me that people think that I'm good at being evil, because I experience myself as the very opposite. I'm terrified of my own shadow.
Well, I'll tell you what, the characters that you played, I mean, from 2003's Hook in Peter Pan to your character in The Patriot to in Harry Potter playing the villain there as well. I mean, you're just so good at it, though.
Well, you know, I not to put myself down, I think I'm a perfectly fine actor, but I'm every bit as good as the writing, and so what I've been lucky enough to do is pick some very smart and well-told storytellers and bask in their shadows. So, you know, Ira Levin wrote a phenomenal book in Rosemary's Baby, and then, of course, Polanski made a brilliant film, and then some very smart people decided to adapt and update it and set it in Paris and create, you know, a very new version of my character. And I get all the credit for it, so I'm happy to take it.
Well, I tell you what, this one is pretty freaky. The original was freaky enough. It scared my wife when she was pregnant with our daughter. I watched this. I got the screener, which for anybody who's not in the business, a screener is when they send you a preview copy so that you can watch and you know what you're talking about with the interview. It's definitely, I think, probably the best update of an old movie that I've ever seen.
Well, how fantastic. We'll put that on the poster, if we had posters. But the thing is that, you know, great stories are great stories. And so it's a fantastic premise. And the Polanski film was so much of its time and had so much to say about the relationships between men and women at the time that it was ripe for an update. And whoever it was that came up with setting in Paris, I think, is very smart, deserves a lot of credit, because it's such a... You create the sense of isolation of fish out of water so brilliantly by placing Rosemary and her husband there. And also, the place is so old. Right. I was living in an apartment when we shot above a bakery that first opened in 1366. And nobody looks twice at that because that's common everywhere. So, you know, we were shooting in some haunted buildings, and there's the idea that a satanic cult could have been going for centuries there doesn't really, you know, it doesn't seem in any way challenging, whereas New York is a very different situation. It's so new and such a modern place. But the sense of history and ancient things, you know, running the undercurrent of ancient and creepy things is so much more believable in Europe.
Well, and of course the brilliance of releasing this on Mother's Day, Sunday night at... The
sickness. Somebody very perverse and very clever came up with that.
Well, Part 1 will air on Mother's Day. Part 2 will air the following Thursday. Your character, Roman, like I said at the beginning of this, you are so good at being bad. Well,
you know, the thing about Roman and my wife Margot in it, we're just having a very good time. I mean, the devil gets all the best tunes. And so, you know, whereas poor Zoe has to be hysterical and terrified and paranoid for 4 hours, Roman is having a really good time. He's been alive for many centuries, and he is reeling in yet another tiny fish. And no matter how much they flap on the line, I'm so much more powerful and so much smarter and so much wiser than these victims. And I've done this so many times in the past that really I could just have a good time. And if there's anything I've done when I've played these, I don't like to think of them as villains, but certainly antagonists in stories, it's try and make sure they're having a good time, because the characters we hate most are the ones that are doing things we disapprove of and enjoying it. I just tried to make sure that Roman was enjoying his life.
You've played so many great roles. What is your favorite role in your mind? What's the role that you most enjoyed?
It's always the next one. I'm about to set off for Israel to shoot this miniseries for USA, in which I play an FBI guy uncovering a conspiracy. And you know, there's no point looking backwards. I'm looking forward to the next meal. There's no point me thinking about the mushrooms I ate in Paris in 1984. So I like them all. You know, I think of them all fondly. They're like my children. I couldn't pick one out.
All right. Well, we want folks to tune in Sunday night, 8 Central, 9 o'clock Eastern Time for Rosemary's Baby on NBC. Jason Isaacs, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time to join us this morning.
Thanks very much. I hope audiences enjoy having a horrific time watching it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.